Today we're sitting down with the cast of a bold new drama from Sustainment TV, a film that dives deep into the emotional realities of domestic violence. With a cast of passionate emerging actors, the story doesn't just aim to entertain. It's here to spark conversation, challenge silence, and ignite change. These performers may be new, but their honesty, vulnerability, and raw talent will leave a lasting impact. Let's meet the people bringing this powerful story to life. Okay, we are here with Gina, who plays Bethany.
Hi.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from a small town in Arkansas. I'm definitely an aspiring actress. I'm really excited about this role and all the opportunities that it can give me. Anything nature, outdoors, I'm a very, very nature person.
So how has that helped shape who Bethany is in the film?
Well, in my personal experience is being a victim of domestic violence in the past. In this film, there's some points where I'm a contributor. I kind of fight back, and that was a little bit of a challenge for me. So when I go out and I exercise outside, it releases a lot of that tension and buildup. But the challenge for being the contributor was something that I really had to work through. But once I got into this mentality frame that I'm going to fight back, just in my brain, it came out. It came out naturally, and it was real cool for that. So the nature didn't really build it up. The nature's for me to get rid of in real life. But as far as Bethany goes, it was a challenge to be the one that fought back eventually. But once it clicked, it clicked.
So how's working with Sustainment TV been for you?
Oh my goodness, it's been amazing. So not being familiar, being new to the industry, working with Sustainment TV, whenever I had any struggles with, like I was mentioning, the fighting back, there were some intimacy issues. Everyone was there to make sure to let me know it was okay, that what I was doing was great, to continue. The support is just amazing. They kept me in my mind frame so I wouldn't lose the mind frame of what I needed to portray, and it flew by. Without their support, I don't think I could have done the best Bethany. So I'm really, really, really grateful and thankful to be working with Sustainment TV and everyone that involved with it.
Awesome. So this film deals with domestic violence. So how do you think audiences will connect with that?
So audience that are victims of domestic violence this film will most likely, in my opinion, re-trigger those emotions and those situations and those feelings and make, and seeing someone rise from that, I hope that it gives them, audience members, hope and faith, and like they can see that someone can beat the struggle and that they're not the only ones out there. Now, people who haven't dealt with domestic violence, I'm hoping that this film brings them awareness and knowledge that this is a serious issue that people deal with every day. Anyone deals with it at any time. Like, you don't know this, right? And I just want them to know that this is a serious issue out there and it shouldn't be taken lightly.
That's a good point. Because domestic violence is a painful but it's a vital issue, what drew you to participate in this kind of film with that heavy of a weight?
Domestic violence awareness is very important to me. So bringing knowledge and mainly awareness, knowledge to the people who don't know about it is passionate to me. That's what I want. I want people to know about this because some people have no clue, and it's a rising major issue, and it's so prevalent in our society today that this is passionate. I want to do this. I want to portray this so people can definitely take this as a serious issue that they should consider.
So you mentioned that you yourself are a survivor. Did you draw any inspiration from those events that you went through to bringing it through and out of Bethany?
Absolutely. That was one of the main ways I was able to do that. Bringing in my own experiences. I actually had to go back, relive some of these things to bring back the emotions, the feelings, the situations, and that was a way for me to portray everything that was needed to be portrayed, and it was smooth. It went very smooth.
That's very good.
Mm-hmm. Just bringing it back up, reliving it, that helps. That is tremendous.
So the triggers didn't exactly trigger you to a negative headspace. It brought you to an elevated mentality.
Absolutely, yes.
That's really good. Mm-hmm. Would you say that's due to the role, or was it in part of the cast and the crew that you were working with? Is that just your personal goal that you attained, that you weren't going to let the past of your experiences bring you down?
No, what I like, I brought those experiences into it. Like that, I remembered those experiences, and then that's where I mentally was at. My mindset was in those moments, and so it made it so much easier. So much easier.
That's good. Were there moments during filming that felt particularly difficult to process emotionally? Because I know as a survivor, and with me as well being on set, I let you know that it was emotional during a couple of scenes that you did. Did you have any difficulty processing that you went through this, but you're not actually being the victim this time?
Right. Yeah. So at first it was difficult, of course, being a new actress. So I had to get this where I was trying to not be domesticated violently or domestically violent. There were times where I was trying not to get beat up, and I needed to release that. Like I needed to know, don't be a struggle at this point in this scene, right? So once that was out of my mind and I just relaxed and let loose, I was able to let my drama and my that madness and frustration and anger come through, for sure.
That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
The role you play of Bethany, what did you discover about yourself during this process?
Again, it brings back to I had to discover that I had to relive these things, and that's can be challenging for some. For some, it can reliving it can cause trauma, right? I needed to bring that trauma to the scene. I needed to bring it to the light, to the story, to Bethany. I needed to bring that to her. So I discovered that the more you dig deep down into your own personal experiences, the more you can portray into a relative, relatable role, as such as Bethany.
Oh, very nice. How did Sustainment TV support your development and vision for Bethany?
They've been here every step of the way for me for this. It's been great. They've helped me with my confidence level. They've helped me with my mindset. Again, it's very important. This is all very mindset is very important for this type of deep emotional film production. And I wouldn't have traded it for the world. That anytime I had any struggles, right there. Anytime I needed a break, right there. There were the support for when I was doubting. They're like, you got this. There is no doubt. Why are you doubting, right? Like, I wouldn't have had it any other way. Thank you so much for Sustainment TV.
Oh, awesome. What's one thing you hope audiences will take away from watching this film?
So I want them to know that domestic violence is serious. It is real. It is happening every day right under your nose to anyone at any time. If you see something, say something. And always do not be afraid to fight back. And there is always a way to get help and get out.
Very powerful.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Mm-hmm. This has been Gina, who plays Bethany, and we can't wait to see Bethany come alive on the big screen.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We are here with Nick, or Nicholas.
Nick's fine.
Nick. And he plays who?
Perry.
Perry. And tell me a little bit about Perry.
So Perry's the guy that no female ever wants to be in a relationship with at the end of the day.
And how has that?
It was difficult for me at times. 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 It was difficult for it's about polar opposite of my actual character in person and in life. So it was trying at points and times, to say the least.
So it definitely helped build you as an actor.
Yes, as from development stance, absolutely, because I had to step out of my comfort zone and everything that I have built for myself over my 30 years of life to, like I said, the polar opposite, being the absolute worst, not only to females, but a kid as well. And all in all, being the narcissist when I was a team player my whole life kind of brings out a whole new element to my acting display.
Okay. And through your personal life, did you have anything to draw the character from?
Yes, so I have witnessed quite a few domestics in my life. Um, Unfortunately, I have seen it first person happen multiple times, and I kind of just based my character off of those certain people that I have seen in the active life presenting themselves as an abusive man. So it wasn't very difficult for me to develop the character because I have been in situations where I was the victim, but I also have been in situations where I have seen the female be a victim and tried to step in between and stop it. So I did know how to present myself because I have witnessed it multiple times.
Makes perfect sense.
Yes.
This film, because it deals with the domestic violence, how do you think audiences will connect with that?
So I believe every single person will have a different connection with the movie because there is a wide range between domestic violence. Some of it's brutal, some of it's just verbal, there's physical. Some people have been through hell and back and they have absolutely no belief in getting out, and that's when it gets very bad. And others have never experienced it whatsoever. So I think there'll be mixed emotions and mixed connections through each and every individual, depending on how they directly correlate to domestic violence.
That's very well said. Because this is a painful but vital issue, what drew you to participate in the film with this kind of weight?
So I have, like I said, experienced it myself from the other side and a third person experience as well. So me bringing that to light helps people understand that there is always a route out. You just have to find the right support.
Into the Brink, were you provided with enough support from Sustainment TV to help create this character that is unlike you in reality?
Yes, absolutely. So from set workers to the cast, everybody freely was able to express one another and connect on a level that we trusted one another with our movements and everything that we were doing. And it was such a supportive group, and everybody kind of had their own personal opinion and personal experience with it. So we all kind of collabed and understood one another. And it actually helped with the opening up and doing the things that I know are completely wrong and that I would never do in person, but knowing my character outside of the movie, it was more accepted and we all came together and the sport was absolutely phenomenal.
Awesome. Were there moments during filming that felt particularly difficult to process emotionally?
yes, me processing the abuse was very, very difficult because I have been in that situation and I knew it's better to walk away. And for me to act it out, it goes against all my moral codes and the way I was raised. So I did have a little difficulty processing it. Once I worked through it and then just reminded myself who I actually am, it became easier with time and repetition. At first, it was a little difficult to process, yes.
So, the role you play, Perry, what did you discover about yourself during this process?
I discovered I'm actually a lot better of a person than I thought I was. Um, the fact that I did have a little bit of a battle, even though I know it's fictional from my perspective in this movie, it's not fictional for a lot of people. I felt like I delivered pretty well for someone who's never actually done it in their real life. So without the actual experience and just showing everybody that you can get out of that situation, you just have to get away from the toxicness and you have to make sure you can trust. You have to make sure you believe in yourself and you can trust other people after going through such a situation as domestic violence. If you just keep yourself in that shell and continue to take the abuse, you'll never actually be able to show the world your actual value. Instead, you'll be put away, locked away, and nobody will ever actually see the actual potential you have. So, performing this taught me a lot about life, I guess I would say.
Definitely gives you a new perspective.
Yeah, way different.
Going into your next role. And how has Sustainment TV helped foster your growth?
Being a brand new position for me, and I've only been acting for a couple months now, they brought me right on. We got set. We scheduled everything, got everything set up perfect. It was a very fluent set. Everybody had their lines down. The director and the set workers were on their game the entire time. They elevated my performance by for those certain situations where I'm like, I don't really feel completely comfortable doing this. They reminded me, you can do it. Get out of your own head. We know you're not like this in real life. We need you to project this project for us and make it look as real as possible. So David, the director, was actually very good at helping me develop into that person that I have such a difficult time being.
It's always nice to work with, for sure.
Yes.
What is one thing you hope audiences will take away from this film, To the Brink?
I hope audiences take away there is always a way out. You have to get yourself out of that toxic environment. You have to get yourself out of whatever it is, whatever you're going through. You have to get over that hump and believe there is somebody that's out there to hear you out. You have to believe there are people that will help you, and you have to trust that they are there to help you. After dealing with a narcissist, after dealing with an abusive partner, you'll have to, it's hard to trust other people. Mm-hmm. So you have to be willing to open your doors to new opportunities and to meet people that you can actually trust, because there are still good people out there. No matter what you've been through, there are people that will help you and hear you out. You just have to trust that they're there for your better well-being. And once you get out of that toxic place, your growth and your actual value will finally be sought out and seen. You just have to remove yourself from that environment. Sorry.
So since we are in a boxing ring, how does boxing correlate with domestic violence?
So it is a very, very good way to release anger, to release tension. So whether you're the victim, I don't ever want to stand up for the abuser, obviously, but before, if that crosses your mind, if you ever go through that, speaking from the perspective of the person that was the abuser, before you ever think that's a good idea, seek out boxing, seek out weightlifting, maybe running, something that you can turn to as an outlet to let that steam off, because it is never all right to put that onto your partner, anybody, but especially your partner who you're spending majority of your time with. That's just very degrading, and it puts them down in a place to where they might not be able to recover. So boxing would be a great outlet to release that anger, that tension, whatever it is that you're holding on to. It's a good way to let it go. You don't even have to take it out on another person. There's weights, there's bags, there's other stuff you can do. So I would say boxing and physicality go hand in hand. If you're ever struggling with either side of the domestic violence, it's a lot better to let loose in a ring, on a bag, never on another human being. So I think it would be a great way to release everything, tension in. So
Yeah, so you look like you work out plenty,
I do,
so you might
yes.
know a few things.
A little bit, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sitting with me, and we look forward to seeing more of you on the big screen.
Absolutely, thank you.
We have with us Christopher, who plays
Frederick.
Frederick, and Frederick is who in To the Brink?
The only kid of Perry and Bethany.
Okay. And with the role, Frederick, what's it been like for you?
Pretty overwhelming because my parents were fighting a lot in the Brink, so it's pretty tough handling it.
Yeah, and what would it be like for that situation on the other end of a camera in real life?
It would be very scary instead of overwhelming, and it would be like you would probably also be hit too instead of just a mom getting hit.
That does happen oftentimes, and because of the nature of the movie that you're in, did you draw any inspiration from that?
Yes.
And what can you share about what you've learned?
It's very crucial about what environment your child is in, because it could affect when they get older until like they're in adults. And you wouldn't want that to rub on them, for them to treat their kid like that.
Very true. Very well spoken. So what's it been like on set working with Sustainment TV and all of the cast and crew?
It's been great. I wouldn't say anything bad about it because there's nothing to say about it that's wrong.
Good. Do you have any experience that you had to draw the scared and frightenedness from to bring your character's crisis to life?
I mostly think about like my fear of heights.
Okay, that's a really good one. And playing Frederick, is this the first role that you've ever played in a movie or television series?
Yes, if you don't count as being an extra.
Very good. And what's it like for you to be in this role as your very first major player?
I would say it would be a great experience, and it gets you more experience, so when you get better roles, you can look back at that and have better like better memorization or how to act things out, make it more realistic.
Okay. So in the film To the Brink, did you get hurt or have to pretend to get hurt?
I kind of got hurt when I get flung onto the couch and I just land on the floor. It just hurts my knees and like one of my sides.
Working with your movie parents, how was that experience?
It was pretty fun actually. Perry gave me some good advice, and Bethany um, did a good job playing her role and helped me a little bit.
So because of the adult subject matter, how did you cope with that?
I saved my mom in this film. I saved my mom by calling Albert, which is Paul, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Paul. I called Albert, which is Paul. And also I tackled Perry. And then I was on the floor and Albert came and saved the day.
So do you feel like you were a hero in part with Albert to save the day?
Yes.
Yes. And how did that make you feel?
Great.
Made you feel great. Well, thank you, Christopher, for talking with us, and we look forward to seeing you on the big screen.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back, and with me now is MC, who plays Albert.
How y'all doing? What's up?
So,
What's up?
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh man, I have been on and off acting for a few years. I started in Japan, did 2 episodes on 2 different shows. I did a little bit of modeling. I was on a commercial. I'm new to this, and I met with Dave, and we've been running with each other ever since.
Fantastic. And how has it been working with Sustainment TV?
It has been amazing. I don't have any complaints. We gel well together. We try to be there as much as he needs me. Everybody talks amongst each other. There's really no issues. The synergy is crazy.
So on set, the direction and the emotion that is trying to be evoked, working in that type of turbulent subject matter, how was that for you personally?
It took a couple of seconds to separate it because I've witnessed a couple of situations in my life. I am a huge advocate for protecting people. I also participate in some domestic violence events throughout the year.
So you're really involved in this, okay. And how has it been to take your personal experiences and then put them into Albert?
It was pretty simple. I have been Albert before.
Okay.
So going in and not trying to give too much away, but doing what men should do is it just came easy.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it was easy rather than more difficult. So because this film deals with domestic violence, how do you think audiences will connect with that?
I think the audience will have mixed emotions. Some characters, they will hate from the beginning. Some characters you can kind of understand why, but some of their actions are still kind of wrong. And then other characters, you're going to root for them all the way through. So I think as an audience as a whole, everybody's going to feel different. It's just going to fluctuate throughout the entire film.
So this will be a film for just about anybody to see, whether you've been Bethany, whether you've been Perry, or in your case, Albert.
Yes, and even for children, the younger viewers, to understand how to move in certain situations, that shows up in the film as well.
Oh, that's very nice. Because it's a very painful but vital issue, what drew you to participate in this film? I know you said you've been in the domestic violence situation yourself, you've been in the community, but what made you want to play Albert?
Expansion of roles, trying to get involved in more in the acting world, and I wanted to help teach, about this situation in particular, so we can change the environment of our world, because a lot of people don't really understand that certain things shouldn't happen.
Oh, that's a big point right there. Were there moments during filming that felt particularly difficult to process emotionally?
There was a couple of times Bethany was getting hemmed up a little bit that I had to resist reacting because I wasn't in the scene. But they did a really good job at portraying the actual like violence that does happen during these events, that sometimes hidden away or covered up, or a lot of the victims don't really want to talk about it because it brings back too much emotional trauma.
Was there anything that Sustainment TV did to help foster you to grow out of the triggers, so to speak?
Yes, they definitely allowed me to be involved in other things in the background, to stay busy, you know, um, and just the general conversation of, hey, look, it's gonna look a little intense, but it's just acting.
Okay, that's always helpful,
Yeah.
because these types of subject matters are always hard to talk about, bring about, portray. So I'm pretty sure we're very lucky to have you. What is one thing you hope the audience will take away from this?
One thing I would say, not everybody has to be a hero, but you can be a hero by teaching and keeping the people around you accountable.
Oh, that's a very insightful, for sure. Is there anything from your personal experiences that brought you to the brink?
Oh, just witnessing a couple of domestic violence situations in my life. Few guys that didn't grow up the same way that I did, and didn't have the same male figures in their life to tell them that something wasn't right, or give them a different outlet or guide them. And witnessing those situations and having to step into those situations, it really, I guess, kind of put me in the mindset that I needed to be in.
Okay. So since we're in the boxing ring, would you recommend boxing as an outlet for survivors, or even on the other side of things?
I would. I've never formally boxed. I've been in a little couple of scuffles in my life, but I would say controlled, you know, I guess release of energy
Mm-hmm.
is way better than being out there and not understanding how strong you really are, and not being able to control your emotions correctly. So yes, boxing, I would say, is way up there, top 2. 2. 2 . 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 I am, a little bit of the older generation, so I would say you can play video games, but get out the house, go do something, go hiking, go running, something to burn off that energy and take that tension away. So swimming,
Physical activity.
physical, yeah, anything physical.
Physical activity, so you're not physically reacting.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Definitely.
Awesome. That is all the questions I have.
All right.
We look forward to seeing more of you on the big screen, not just playing Albert, but in many other roles.
Hope so.
I am here with Ellie, who plays Nicole in To the Brink. Welcome.
Hi.
So, how did you find out about To the Brink?
Funny enough, I found out through a Facebook post as a result of a Google search for open casting calls in the area.
Okay. And did you originally audition to be Nicole, or was there another character that you were trying to portray?
Yeah, so I reached out for the part of Bethany, and then David emailed me back and said that it was already filled, but he did have another role that he was interested in seeing me in, and I was like, yeah, however I can be a part of this project, I want to. So
Awesome. When you first auditioned to be Nicole, what were you reading from? Was it a script? Was it your own monologue?
So David sent me the sides from the script for the scene where Nicole and Perry are leaving lunch together. And that was my introduction to the basis of the story as well as the basis of my character. And just from that very, very small exchange, I caught on pretty quickly to who she is and what she's about.
So now that you said that, who is she and what is she all about?
She's the other woman, and she's all about seemingly wrecking the home of Perry and Bethany. So,
and in your real life, did you come from a place that you were another woman at one point? Or is this something completely out of the realm of your normal?
Super, yeah. So I have been Bethany in a couple situations in my life, but I have never been the Nicole. So it's very, very, very different from who I am to my core, but I also feel like that's kind of the fun with acting in new roles like this, is you kind of have an excuse to act a way that you wouldn't necessarily, and kind of get to explore those different emotions and scenarios. So
definitely, and then it ends up building you more into a well-rounded actor.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. And is there anything that's been on set so far that's been challenging for you playing Nicole?
There's been a few moments of dialogue within the script that are a bit triggering in terms of my own past experience, but it's been kind of a cool experience going from like our first table read, hearing the words for the first time, to now, and them like not being so much of a trigger anymore and just kind of being able to push through it. So it's been kind of cool to like see my own growth within how I react to the script and the situations.
Awesome. What's it been like working for Sustainment TV?
Oh, it's been great. It's been very, very easygoing, great people. Definitely are concerned about everyone on set and just seemingly want everyone to be happy and healthy, and that's kind of all you can ask for in a cast and crew, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
And your love interest with Mr. Perry, what's that been like for you?
It's been challenging. I'm pretty, how do I phrase this? I'm pretty shy when it comes to intimacy, even with my own husband at times. So it's been a challenge, but again, like that's kind of the fun of being an actress, is you're forced to push yourself. And the great part about it is it's in a safe environment, and you know, there's no concern in any respect with anything that's going down, but it's definitely a way to push myself and challenge myself and grow. But yeah, it's been a challenge, and that's not at all a knock to Perry, just more so my own shyness in general.
So it's definitely made you come out of your shell a little bit.
Yeah, I've had to, my husband isn't complaining because I've had to hit on him more to practice, to like be comfortable.
So you have a good support system.
Yes.
He's in the background.
Oh yeah.
Your biggest supporter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Very good.
Yeah.
So what could you say to your audience, your reach, about the film that we are working on, To the Brink?
Oh gosh, I guess if you know me personally, then you know that this story is close to my heart, and it's an important message to get out there. I feel like because it can be so hard to leave, that it's important to know the different resources available, the different avenues that can be taken to leave, and I just feel like the more exposure about situations like this that there are, the more resources people who are victims in this situation will have. So yeah, I mean, I guess just enjoy it and use it as a resource to the best of your ability.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ellie.
Thank you.
It's been a wonderful time talking with you, and we can't wait to see her on the big screen. Okay, we have Cleo with us today. And Cleo, who do you play in To the Brink?
I play Ray, a boxing trainer.
Boxing trainer. Do you have any boxing training experience?
No, I really don't. I just love to box when I was in my youth.
So the love of it.
The love of boxing and sports in particular. So the energy with these young people, will it just make it even better?
Did you have to do any soul searching or deep insight look into yourself and how to play this character?
No, not really, because I've always been like a trainer type. Through the military, I'm always training and telling people what to do and how to do it. So it comes pretty easy.
Like second nature to you. Good.
It is second nature.
Awesome.
It's fun because I'm dealing with young people with a lot of energy, and that just helps me out.
Does it make you feel young too?
It makes me feel. So.
And what brought you to play this character? Did you have to audition, or have you been part of Sustainment TV productions before?
Well, I've been part of Sustainment Television. I started on one of his other feature films as a background and went from there.
So you're evolving as an actor.
Yes.
Have you taken on any other roles outside of Sustainment TV?
Yes, I have. I've done roles in 2 other feature films.
Was it anything like what you had to do here on To the Brink?
No. One I play a preacher, and one I played a father of kids that had gone bad. Okay. So it's totally different role.
Totally different role. So totally different from your reality as well, right?
From my reality as well. Awesome. So that's the good thing.
Due to the subject matter of this film, what are you hoping the audience gets from watching?
Well, I hope the audience because we're in a violent culture right now, and it's getting worse, and especially getting worse for the younger people because they see it as normal, and hopefully this ain't normal. We got to do something different, and they'll see it and they'll move on from it. Okay, I'm in a bad situation. This guy's yelling at me every day. It's time for me to move on before the hands start getting through. So hopefully they will see that and understand that there are ways out.
Would you recommend boxing as a source of therapy or outlet for domestic violence survivors?
Oh yeah, boxing you can get your frustration out real quick in a boxing ring, or just not even with an opponent, just with the heavy bags, speed bags. It all comes out. All your aggression, you can just put it in there, and it works out good. Awesome. People enjoy that as
their outlet.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cleo, for talking with us, and we can't wait to see you as the trainer on To the Brink.
And I thank y'all.